In a dusty, forgotten corner of Lahore there lived a lion, but he was not a king, he was a prisoner, held captive in a small, barren enclosure. The sun beat down on him without mercy, and there was no soft grass to comfort his tired body, only hard-packed dirt and cold concrete. Every day was the same endless cycle of loneliness and pain. He was a magnificent creature, born to roam vast savannas and lead a proud pride. Instead, his world was confined to a few square meters, a shadow of the life he was meant to live. His spirit, once as bright and powerful as the sun, was slowly dimming under the weight of neglect. The lion's suffering was not just in his heart, it was etched onto his very skin. Deep, painful holes marred his beautiful golden coat. These were not scars from a noble fight with a rival, they were wounds left by illness and a complete lack of care. Inside these raw, open sores, tiny worms lived, feeding on his flesh and causing him constant agonizing torment. He would often lie down, too weak to move, his body trembling from the unrelenting irritation and infection. Every breath was a struggle, and his once fierce eyes were now clouded with a deep pleading sadness that spoke of unimaginable misery. His keepers saw him not as a living, feeling being, but as a symbol of status, an object to be owned. They provided just enough food and water to keep him alive, but never enough to let him thrive. His health was ignored, his pain unseen. The powerful roar that should have echoed across the plains was reduced to a weak, mournful groan that nobody seemed to hear. He had forgotten the feeling of a full belly, the joy of play, or the gentle touch of another of his kind. His existence was a silent scream for help, a desperate plea from a world that seemed to have turned its back on him. This was his reality, day after agonizing day. He would pace what little space he had until his paws were sore, his mind lost in a fog of confusion and despair. The glorious mane that should have framed his face was matted and thin, a testament to his poor health. He was a ghost of the animal he should have been, a symbol of how terribly we can fail the creatures who share our planet. In his isolation, he knew only suffering. But even in the darkest of places, a small flicker of hope can sometimes ignite, waiting for someone with a kind heart to notice and fan it into a flame. One day, everything changed. A visitor passing by the enclosure stopped and truly looked at the lion. They did not just see a big cat, they saw the deep sadness in his eyes and the terrible wounds on his body. They saw his trembling limbs and the flies that buzzed around his open sores. This person could not simply walk away and forget what they had seen. Their heart ached for the suffering animal. They knew they had to do something, to be the voice for this creature who could not speak for himself. That single moment of compassion was the first step on the lion's long journey back to life. The news of the sick lion spread quickly through a small, dedicated community of animal lovers and wildlife officials. Fueled by the recent crackdown on illegal big cat ownership, they were already on high alert. Photos and videos of the lion's terrible condition were shared, sparking outrage and an immediate desire to act. A team was quickly assembled, a group of brave and caring people. It included skilled veterinarians, experienced wildlife rescuers, and passionate volunteers. Their mission was clear, to get this lion out of his prison and give him the medical care he so desperately needed. They called him Aslan, a name that means lion and represents courage and hope. Planning the rescue was a careful and complex process. Rescuing a fully grown lion is dangerous, even one that is very sick. The team had to think about everything. How would they get close to him safely? How would they sedate him without causing more harm to his weak body? How would they transport such a large animal to a place of safety? They worked together, drawing on their collective knowledge and experience. Every detail was meticulously planned, from the tranquilizer dart to the specially prepared transport crate. Their teamwork was a powerful force driven by a shared goal to save Aslan's life. The day of the rescue arrived filled with both nervousness and determination. The team approached the enclosure quietly and calmly, speaking in soft voices to avoid startling the frightened animal. The veterinarian aimed carefully and fired the tranquilizer dart. Everyone held their breath as they waited for the medicine to take effect. Aslan stumbled and then lay still, finally free from his awareness of the pain. The team moved in swiftly and with great care. They gently examined his wounds, their faces grim but their hands gentle. It was the first kind touch he had likely felt in a very long time. This was the moment his old life ended and his new one began. Aslan was carefully loaded into the transport crate and taken to a sanctuary, a safe place where he could finally begin to heal. The journey was smooth, and upon arrival, the veterinary team was ready for him. His first full medical examination revealed the true horror of his neglect. He was severely underweight, dehydrated, and suffering from multiple infections. The holes in his skin were even worse than they had appeared from a distance. The veterinarians worked for hours, cleaning each wound with incredible patience. They removed the worms, treated the infections with medicine, and gave him fluids to restore his strength. It was a long and difficult procedure. The first few days were critical. Aslan was weak, and his body had a long fight ahead of it. Volunteers and sanctuary staff took turns watching over him around the clock. They made sure he was comfortable, warm, and safe. They spoke to him in gentle voices, offering words of encouragement, as if he could understand their kindness. He was given a special diet of nutrient-rich food to help him regain his weight and strength. Slowly, very slowly, he started to respond to the care he was receiving. For the first time in years, he was surrounded not by cruelty but by compassion. His recovery was not a straight line. There were good days and bad days. Sometimes he would eat with a good appetite, and other times he would refuse his food, his body still tired from the long battle. But the team never gave up on him. They celebrated every small victory. The first time he stood up on his own, the first time he let out a soft rumble that sounded almost like a purr, the first time he showed a flicker of interest in his surroundings. Each small step forward was a testament to his own resilience and the unwavering dedication of the people who were nursing him back to health. As weeks turned into months, a remarkable transformation took place. The wounds on his body began to close, and new, healthy fur started to grow over the scars. He gained weight, and his muscles, once weak and atrophied, grew stronger with each passing day. The clouded look in his eyes was replaced by a clear, bright gaze. He started to behave like a lion again, pacing his new, spacious enclosure with a confident stride and resting in the sun. The care and kindness he received were healing not just his body, but his broken spirit as well. He was learning to trust again. Today, Aslan is a different lion. He is majestic and strong, a true king of his new domain. His golden coat is thick and shiny, and his magnificent mane has grown back, framing a face that now shows contentment instead of despair. The deep scars he carries are a permanent reminder of his painful past, but they no longer define him. He spends his days basking in the warm sun, playing with enrichment toys provided by his caretakers, and letting out powerful roars that echo through the sanctuary. A sound of triumph, not of pain. He has found peace. Aslan's story did not end with his rescue. It became a powerful symbol of hope that inspired many people. His journey from a broken, neglected animal to a thriving, happy lion was shared widely, touching the hearts of people across the country and around the world. It showed everyone what a little bit of kindness and compassion can achieve. His story helped raise awareness about the terrible problem of illegal wildlife trade and the importance of proper animal welfare. It encouraged more people to speak up for animals who cannot speak for themselves and to support the organizations working tirelessly to protect them. The rescue of a single animal can seem like a small act in a world with so many problems. But it is never just about one animal. Every successful rescue sends a ripple of change through the community. It inspires other people to get involved, to volunteer their time, or to donate to the cause. It puts pressure on authorities to enforce laws and to take animal cruelty seriously. Aslan's rescue was part of a larger movement in Pakistan, a growing understanding that all living beings deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. It showed that change is possible when good people decide to work together. In the end, Aslan's story is a beautiful lesson for all of humanity. It teaches us about the incredible resilience of life and the healing power of kindness. It reminds us that we have a responsibility to be guardians of the natural world and to protect its most vulnerable creatures. By saving one lion from a life of misery, his rescuers did more than just heal his wounds. They ignited a beacon of hope. They showed us that even in the face of great suffering, compassion can triumph, and that one act of courage can inspire 1,000 more, creating a better, kinder world for all.